Hey, so we're gonna continue on with training because this is my training outfit, remember? Trying to keep a theme. I just did a video on ADDI. If you don't know what that means, I would encourage you to go back and watch my last video. That will tell you what the acronym means and how it pertains to training. I could go over it now, but I really want you to learn that and spend the time figuring out what it means for you, how it looks in a business, and what the acronym is, so that way you can pass your test. Additionally, when it comes to training, there's a lot of different things that you need to consider when you're deciding the methods that you're going to use. So there's things just like, subject matter, if it's going to be an individual, one-on-one versus multiple people, their legal ramifications, if there's parameters set by recertifications, geographical, the number of trainees. There's just a lot of different factors that need to come into that. So anytime you're doing a training, you're going to need to adapt your training based off of the need of the people that you're training and the resources that you have. So there are different types of ways that you can, there are different type of methods you can use when it comes to training, and one of those is the classroom setting, which is extremely familiar to most everybody if you've ever been a student in school or you have taken classes in really anything, churches. You've been in a classroom, and that's facilitator led, and they're speaking to the pupil, teachers, employees, so that's pretty easy to get up on board with and understand. So when you're doing the facilitator classroom method, there's different types that you can do. So there's presentation, which is what you'll want to use when there's information that needs to be delivered to a group, especially large groups and perhaps at different locations. So if you're giving a ubiquitous training for your company and it's just a presentation style, you can use that same presentation no matter where you're at. Then you have case studies. So that's when your trainees need to apply the knowledge to the job right away. So you're giving them a case study, telling them why. Then when you have reading, that's when self-reflection is needed to process the information being determined. So if you give your people that are training, you give them reading materials, that's what that means. Role playing, which is always good to allow people to apply what they've learned. That helps with retention. That's when the trainee needs to practice in the simulation the information or skills being taught and learns the skill quickly. Then you have your exercises, which is what people practice what is necessary to fully develop the new skills they're learning. So you're just giving them learning exercises. This stuff is very familiar to what we grew up in, or most of us grew up in elementary school and really any type of schooling. Then you have your group discussions, which is when the trainees need to have an exchange of experience and information sharing with other trainees. I personally like that a lot. It kind of gives not only you as the trainer insight to the way that people think, but it also broadens the horizons of the people in the group. And sometimes you can learn a lot by just allowing people to have a discussion. Then you have demonstration, and that's when the new information and skills are being presented. So that's just your typical run-of-the-mill classroom facilitator-led method. Then we get to our virtual classroom. This is probably, if you've ever done an online course, it's just similar to this. If you've ever taken online videos, hey, you're kind of watching this now. If I was delivering to a lot of people, it'd be a virtual classroom. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Then we also have our corporate universities. So these are just growing. It's just been happening in the last, since the 90s, since my life. With Disney, Yahoo, they've all developed their inside universities, and they're great for teaching. They're great for companies that are trying to set up they're trying to set their employees up with a variety of needs that they need met, such as, to support a common culture, loyalty, and belonging to a company. Disney's a really good example of that one. If you know anything about the employee culture there, I would look into that. It would make a lot more sense if you don't right now. If you're organizing training as part of the curricula for employees, to retain your employees, to remain competitive in your industry, and to start or support the change in the organization, and also to offer training development to fit the career aspiration goals of employees. So when it comes to all the different types of methods, you have your classroom, you have your virtual classroom, and then you have your corporate universities. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or any additions that you think need made, and thank you for watching.